How deeply do you hide behind the storm of voices inside your head? Does this incessant current of thoughts give you the illusion of safety? Perhaps even the feeling that you're always in motion, always doing something, as if by doing so you can prove to the world, and to yourself, that you are enough. But does this noise truly protect you? Or is it just a heavy cloak, covering the sweetness of silence and preventing you from resting in the arms of presence? You wear this cloak as if it were armor, when in truth, it is an invisible prison. And the only key is in your hands, in the exact moment you decide to silence the world to hear yourself. What happens when silence arrives and there's nothing to fill it? What is left when the mind, so accustomed to running, is invited to stop? Mental noise is a silent addiction. It accompanies us when we wake up, at work, and when we go to bed. Always present, always whispering, think more, predict more, solve more. Many describe this as a weariness in their bones, as if the mind were a machine that can't be turned off. And perhaps, behind this addiction, there's a silent search for something to fill us, a longing for a meaning that the noise seems to promise, but never delivers. But is thinking non-stop truly living? Or is it just repeating old patterns that no longer serve us? Like a stirred-up lake that never reveals its bottom, our clouded mind hides the clarity that only silence can offer. There is a fundamental difference between being the mind and witnessing the mind. When we recognize that we are the consciousness that observes, something opens up. The noise loses its power to drag us down. And it is in that moment that another trap appears, the search to escape this noise through what seem like spiritual paths. Many take refuge in practices, theories, temples, or rituals, believing they will find relief there. But, in some cases, spirituality becomes just another distraction, sophisticated, beautiful, but still an escape. The truth is not something to be won like a trophy. When we turn spirituality into an anesthetic, it becomes empty of meaning. The essential question, who am I, is not answered in books, but in the silence we learn to avoid. How many have confessed, I tried to fill the hole with meditations, with readings, with mantras, and I still feel the emptiness. This happens because no technique is enough if it's used as a shield against yourself. The wise person doesn't run after the truth. They let it blossom in stillness. And it is precisely when we stop running that we come face to face with what we fear most, the void. The existential void seems like an abyss, a space where nothing happens, where no certainty holds us up. That's why we avoid it so hard. Society teaches us to occupy this space with tasks, distractions, achievements. But what if the void wasn't an absence, but an invitation? A chalice can only be useful because it is empty. The seed needs the darkness of the earth to sprout. The womb, before it gives life, is pure space. This void that many call a failure may, in fact, be the fertile womb of transformation. How many accounts speak of loneliness and isolation? But what if, instead of filling it, we accepted resting in that space? Perhaps we would discover that it doesn't threaten us, it reveals us. And when we surrender to the void, another presence manifests. The shadow. The shadow is what we hide from ourselves. Fears, pains, insecurities, traumas. It is an inseparable part of the soul. Imagine the shadow not as a ghost to be avoided, but as the other face of the moon, which only reveals itself when the earth allows its darkness. And the more we try to erase it, the more it insists on showing itself. Many carry old wounds, abuse, rejection, loneliness, that feed the mental noise and the fear of the void. This pain doesn't disappear with platitudes. True transformation requires looking the shadow in the face, without judgment. We can see it as the night of the soul. Dark, yes, but fertile. It is in the darkness that the stars shine. It is in the deep silence that we learn to hear what we once feared. When illuminated by presence, the shadow ceases to be an enemy and becomes a portal. And it is only by passing through this portal that what we have always sought is revealed. Freedom. Freedom is not simply doing what you want, when you want. That's the superficial version. True freedom doesn't depend on desires, but on the ability not to be a slave to them. The philosopher Immanuel Kant said, "You are only free when you do what you don't want." It seems paradoxical, but it reveals that autonomy isn't in obeying impulses, but in acting from reason and consciousness. Freedom is a lucid choice, not an automatic reaction. Along the same lines, spiritual masters have stated that freedom is being beyond conditioning, like water that flows without rigidity. It is recognizing yourself as a silent presence, not as the voice that screams inside the mind. It is realizing that life dances between freedom and responsibility, without one canceling out the other. In the end, freedom is not an external achievement. It is what remains when the noise, the escape, the fear of the void, and the shadow stop imprisoning you. It is open space. It is the soul breathing. Perhaps freedom is not in achieving something new, but in letting go of what we never were. True freedom is not the absence of external chains, but the recognition that nothing inside us can be imprisoned. And I leave you with this question. What if the pain you are trying to avoid today is, in fact, the secret passage to the freedom you seek so much? Gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Imagine that inside your chest there is a silent room. In this room, there are 5 doors. The first door leads to mental noise, and you close it with a breath. The second door leads to spiritual escape, and you close it with a smile. The third door leads to the void, and you leave it open so that the space may flourish. The fourth door leads to the shadow, and you light a candle, illuminating its darkness. And finally, the fifth door has no lock. It opens on its own to a wide, open field, with no roof, no walls, where your soul breathes in peace. Remain for a few moments in this inner space. This is the taste of freedom that no mental prison can steal. If something within you has calmed down or awakened upon hearing these words, allow yourself to continue. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to walk with us on this road of fertile silence, discoveries, and reconnection. Leave your experience in the comments. Your sharing is also a seed of healing for other hearts. And to continue expanding this field of presence, we suggest the video that is on the card. May it be a gentle breath on your journey. Peace and light.